Hey, sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live this morning. Man, what we saw yesterday in college football and the NFL was spectacular.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
here this morning with my man Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10. How you doing this morning, Mossberg?
Man, feeling pretty good. I was so busy yesterday cooking. I had to catch up on some of the games. I didn't go to sleep till 4 o'clock this morning. I was watching highlights all night. Man, it was a great weekend. And it started, how we went out Friday with the high school basketball, man. And it's like feeling like a real live analyst, man, when it comes to our weekends. No sleep. But without you, it wouldn't be possible, man. I appreciate you, man, from the young age of growing up, man, until now, man, just doing what we do, man. Is I'm loving it, and I'm not talking about Mickey D's. And I seen a buddy of mine, he was on live yesterday, and he shouted us out, and what we doing too, and that it sent chills through myself, and because we talked about that. I remember sitting up for the hours talking about what we had plans for. So, man, once again, man, just appreciate it, and just happy to be here, man, as usual, always.
Man, you're welcome, man. I'm glad that I was able to take the ball and run with it because we had been talking about it for a while since
Yeah,
we talked sports so much. And then once YouTube came out with, this kind of a platform, and we had been watching other people do it, I was like, man, shit, we can do that. We talk
yeah,
sports all day long, all the
all
time.
day long, man, for
So,
sure.
so now we in it, bro. So all we got to do is stay consistent and keep on rolling, man.
For sure.
Um, I know you said you had to do a whole bunch of cooking and working yesterday, man. You had to, watch highlights and catch up. But what stood out to you yesterday in those games, man? Um, since you got a chance to catch up on it, what stood out the most to you?
Man, the running backs, man. We spoke on it, throughout the stream. If people, we got tuners that tune in, we spoke about the running back position and how the value had dwindled, but it seemed like that value is about to increase the way these running backs is putting on these shows. And that is something that I seen. And they did not turn the ball over carrying that football this weekend, which was a big thing to me as well. So, when you gotta secure that football and you need that run game, that was evident this weekend with a lot of teams, if not every team that came out on top big.
Yeah, we all know that once you hit the playoffs, man, you got to have a running game
Yes.
in order to be balanced, in order to control the clock, control the momentum. And if you don't have a running game, you might be in trouble. You
For
might be
sure.
in trouble. You got to be able to run the football. Even if you don't get over 200 yards, you got to still be able to run the ball effectively in the moments when you need to run it to keep the defense honest. So I'm glad you brought that point up. Let's talk a little bit about the game that took place on Friday night between Indiana and Notre Dame. And like you said earlier, the run game, man, the run game was the difference in this one. What's your thoughts on that game and how it went? And do you think Indiana should have been in the CFP over some of the other more talented teams that probably would have played Notre Dame a lot better? What's your thoughts on that?
I was definitely looking at this game, and the one team that I thought about was Miami, South Carolina. You think about those teams that might have had a little slip up, but you would rather see them play the Notre Dame team because Indiana came out to me, and the way we felt about them, throughout the season, are they real? We felt they were real, but until they played Ohio State, they looked like the same tune of Indiana over the years. And this game specifically, that's what we seen. The Indiana over the years, they're not ready for that big stage. Nothing against them. They had a great season, but for the excitement of what the playoff is, I would have rather seen a different team in that position. But hats off to Notre Dame, playing great football. A lot of people didn't have them this high, even in the playoff or even being in a playoff, with the loss that they had, just thinking they shouldn't be there. But it goes to show, man, they in there for a reason. And they, I think, is a tough out for anybody as well.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Well, I knew for sure that Notre Dame's defense was going to be a
Yeah,
little bit too much for Rourke, and they really made Rourke look like he was probably a group of five. I mean, yeah, group of five quarterback.
yeah,
He really did not. And I mean, we all know Notre Dame is tough, man. Defensively, they got two good corners. They got good pass rush the whole 9 yards. But
hmm,
I really wish that Miami or maybe even the South Carolina had
yeah,
gotten in. South Carolina, I think, was probably playing some of the best ball in the SEC towards the
yeah.
end of the season, and
I
I would have
agree.
liked to have seen how competitive they could have been against a Notre Dame or a Penn State or one of those teams, you know.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
that ain't what happened. So, hopefully next year when the committee um, makes these final choices, man, they think about that. Even though a team has a good record, it doesn't mean that they're a really good team. And I
Right.
think Indiana showed that they're just a middle of the pack team, even though their record was 11-1.
Yeah. And then I know Jam spoke about the history of the Fighting Irish playing on a Friday night. It didn't seem like they had no letdowns or anything. It seemed like a regular Saturday night game for them. So
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I just think they're a team to watch in this playoff because you don't know what you're gonna get. They stout on every level defensively. Defense win championships. So that's just a team I'm definitely watching out for and seeing how they go throughout this playoff.
Yeah. Before we go to the next game, I'm going to give a shout out to St. Stephen's Community House. I'm at work today, and they're giving out food baskets to all those families that signed up that were in need. And we serve probably over 3,000 families
Man,
every year at this time, and we're going to be doing some deliveries here pretty soon once we get started. And I want to thank my man Tommy Ferguson for allowing me to use this office to do this live show. I guess he's on
appreciate
vacation right now, so I appreciate you, Tommy, for letting me use your office. I wanted to give you a shout out, and your Bucks, man, they played really good yesterday, and we'll talk about them a little bit later on in the show.
you. Yes,
Next
indeed.
up, we got the let me see this comment first. But we want to talk about that SMU and Penn State game. He was saying, Donnell was saying, so they should be based on strength of schedule. I mean, I think strength of schedule should be part of it, but
Yeah,
it doesn't really tell the whole story. Because, I mean, a lot of people felt like Texas didn't have a really strong strength of schedule because the teams they played are nice brands, but they weren't up this year. I mean, they played Texas A&M, they played uh, who else did they play? They played Texas A&M, Florida. Florida was down this year, but they played good later on in the
they're
season
good closing
once
out.
DJ Lagway got better. And then, Texas got to travel to them next year in the swamp. So
Yeah,
next year, Texas strength of schedule is going to look really, really good, even
definitely.
though they're playing the same teams that they played this year. Kentucky normally is a pretty good team. I think they was 1-8, 1-7 in the SEC. So normally their teams will be good. But I think strength of schedule definitely should be part of it, but it shouldn't tell the whole story. I think the fact that South Carolina have been playing really, really good football after they got over some of their injuries, I think they probably should have been a team that should have been considered, even ahead of Alabama, who I thought Alabama had a decent team, but I really didn't want to see Alabama in the 12-team playoff simply because they had two very bad losses.
Yeah,
Bad losses. They never should have lost to Oklahoma 24-3. I mean, an Alabama team only scoring 3 points. That lets you know that they're probably not 12-team playoff caliber.
yeah,
But I like that question, that thought that you threw out there, Don B. Um, that strength of schedule definitely should be part of it, but not telling the whole story. Let's talk a little bit about that SMU and Penn State game. And this is another one of those teams that we felt like they deserved to get in simply because of how they played against Clemson in that final game. Um, but at the same time, we were still on the fence like, are they really going to be competitive against? these teams that we know are some of the best teams in the country that's going to be in the 12 team playoff. Can they compete with them? And I think we found that out yesterday. What's your thoughts on that SMU Penn State
Man,
game?
I was, like you said, we spoke on SMU, and I actually thought they could come out and give Penn State a challenge and win the game. I picked them to win this game, and halfway through this game, I said to myself, "Damn, Penn State is they really Penn State, man. I gotta put some respect on y'all. Nittany Lions, we are. I apologize throughout the season, but they definitely stepped up. And Franklin, he got him a win in a big game. And I think for him to get that signature win to start the playoff, I think that gives them a different boost of confidence. And they run in a two back tandem, and it's different. The way they run the ball, they run strong, and it's like, Singleton carries a load, but then that next back they got, I can't remember his name. He's so shifty and elusive. It's like he's giving Singleton a break, and they're back to it. And then you got Warren at the tight end position, and it's just a matchup problem for anybody. After seeing Penn State yesterday, you can't write them off in this playoff either, man. And when we think about it, right now, I mean, that defense they have the strongest style, and their offense is definitely caught up with that defense. So I think for SMU, we got to go back to the drawing board. And now we don't know if Jennings is going to possibly transfer because he was talking about hitting the portal. So with some of these losses that these teams are taking, I think that portal is starting to open up as we see by the hour.
Yeah, Don B said that Penn State is linebacker U, and yes, we agree they are linebacker U for sure. It was the perfect matchup for them. And all season long, I was dogging Penn State until they played Oregon the way they played Oregon because I felt like, you know, they weren't playing to the ability that I thought that they had with having a quarterback that's a 2 year starter. I thought they should have been playing better football than they were, and I think maybe it's just an Ohio State Michigan thing. They just got they in Penn State's head. Um, but the way they played yesterday, man, their defense is legit.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, their defense is legit. And I think that Penn State has a chance to really, because I think they're going to thump Boise State. I really do think they're going to thump Boise State and probably end up facing Georgia. But I can't. I'm not sleeping on this Penn State team. I think I'm going to pick them uh, until they meet Georgia, of course. And then I don't know which way that's going to go. It depends on if Carson Beck is back. But I like the fact that Drew Aller is finally found what his strength is for this Penn State team,
Yeah,
and he's been playing some really good football down the stretch. So I'm liking Penn State right now, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about that Texas and Clemson game. That was the 4 o'clock game yesterday, and I think we all were spot on our thoughts on this game. But let's share what you think about this game and what you saw when you got to catch up on.
my thing was the run game. Everybody was sitting here, Texas don't got no run game. Texas can't do this. I told everybody, I said Texas gonna go for about a buck 50. Y'all went for 300 on the ground, and y'all didn't even carry the ball 30 times. That was a statement game, and y'all got the win by 14. And the score seemed closer than what it did at points in the game. But as you see that defense getting that goal line stand, that's Texas football. And when you trying to go against the Texas team, they got their back against the wall. You saying they can't run the ball. One go for 146, the other, I think, went for just about the same. And you got to put some respect on them boys' names, Blue and Wisner, because they're playing in a position who they have two All Americans in front of them. And for you to perform at that level throughout the season, back against the wall, prime spotlight, I don't think you can ask for a better performance. And Quinn coming out 17-24, over 200. You can't ask for a better game than that. With minus the interception, that's going to happen in a tough playoff game. But overall, I think Texas is definitely a force to be reckoned with after this game, of course.
Zen Masters there, we're talking about, and welcome to the show, bro. I'm glad you was able to make it.
What's
We're
going on, man?
talking about the Texas and Clemson game. You want to share your thoughts on what you thought about that game?
Yeah, man. What's up with y'all? Y'all good this morning?
Oh,
Yes,
we're
sir.
good,
How's it
bro.
going,
Good.
man?
Man, listen, I'm just happy I ain't got to go into work today. You know? Hey, man, listen, the game, I thought this would be a good game. Turned out to be Dabo had them boys playing, ready to play. I think that call, though, that interception that they called the block in the back, I think that changed the whole complexion of the game. I mean, if they let that touchdown stand, I don't know what the outcome of this game would have been. But Texas, man, they better really figure something out because matching up with Arizona State, them boys was hot the last time we seen them. If they don't play better than what they did in that game, it's gonna be scary, bro.
Yeah, Donnell saying that Ewers can be a liability when he throws across his body.
Yeah,
Donnell, I agree with you, bro, and I'm a Texas homer, but I
Yeah,
agree with you, man. Sometimes Quinn Ewers can be a liability, man, when he, especially when he gets those happy feet, and then when he try to throw that ball across his body. But whenever he's in rhythm and he's slinging that thing, he can be dangerous. But I agree with you, he can be a liability sometimes, and he's good for at least two or three bad balls every game that can be intercepted. Guys just be dropping them, man.
yeah,
Dudes just drop them because they ain't expecting the ball to be where it ended up being at, and they end up dropping the ball. But I thought Texas defensively after that first drive in the first half, they played lights out defense. And when they got up so many points on Clemson, Clemson felt like we can't run the football on this team. Let's throw it. And they was throwing the ball all over the field. And they found a matchup that they liked with that number one against Malik Muhammad, who normally doesn't give up those kind of passes. He was there, but the throws that K. Klubnik was throwing was, man, he was slinging that thing, bro. And I think that if they would have got that touchdown on that interception, we really could have been looking at a very different ball game. But Texas bowled their necks when they was down there in fourth. They really had them on 4th and 6, and they should have stopped them on that 4th and 6. There's no way that guy should have been that wide open, man, for that
man.
that was
touchdown.
crazy.
And then that 4th and 2, I said, if y'all run this football, y'all are not getting in. And they ran it. And I said, oh, yo, you can cancel that. You're not
Such
running the football and getting no touchdown on Texas. Not like that. Them
Yeah,
dudes is too stout up there in front. And they ready for that kind of stuff. And I was very impressed with the coaching of Dabo and the way his team played, man. They played really good. Now, Texas ran all over them. And I'm quite sure if Trey Wisener wouldn't have been hurt, they probably would have ran the ball a little bit more. He had 10 carries for 100, or maybe it was 15 carries for 110 yards, or maybe 10 carries for 115 yards.
well,
And
both of your
then,
backs was over 100.
yeah, of course,
almost
Jay Blue,
146.
yeah, Jay Blue hit him up. Hit
That's
him
why
with a
y'all won that
77.
game for real. Y'all hit them for 250 between them two.
It was
Yeah,
yeah,
we knew we were going to be able to run the football in Clemson. They haven't been a good run team all year, and the outside zone is wide open against them all day. And Texas offensive line, man, it's really good, except when they play against Georgia. You know, Georgia is Texas kryptonite when it comes to their defense, man. And I think if Georgia's defense can play like they play against Texas, they're going to be hard to beat.
yeah.
They're gonna be hard to beat. Zaya, let us get your thoughts on that Penn State game, and let us get your thoughts on that Indiana and Notre Dame game. Start with the Indiana and Notre Dame that took place on Friday.
So, man, Notre Dame dominated them dudes. It was total domination. I know what the scores say, but bro, just in all facets of the game, Indiana looked outmatched. Now, uh, I know people want to say, "Oh, they didn't deserve to be in." I still feel like they deserve to be in, dog. Because what happens is you not hold. We gotta hold people accountable. You gotta have accountability. We can talk about Alabama being in the play, but you don't lose to 2 6-6 teams, and then you don't lose 24-3 late in the season to a 500 team. That's accountability. So
Right.
me, yeah, they might not beat Alabama on a neutral site, and yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they might not beat them, but if you want to actually be fair, teams like that, you just gotta like understand, like they gotta win, bro. You have to win late in November. You have to, like, I mean, listen, who's to say like if we don't see these teams play against each other, who are we to say, oh, my opinion is better than your opinion. I think that team is better than that team. No, the only way we can really judge is based off of what we really see. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, Notre Dame look like they're gonna probably crash on Georgia for real. I'm hoping they do, because I mean, Gunnar Stockton, I don't really think he him. You know what I mean? So Notre Dame look like they got the best path right now. That's just me. And then the Penn State SMU game, the same thing with SMU. Like it looked like they look like they was the third best ACC team. Like they don't even look like they deserve to be in the playoff. And I mean, we got to figure out the scheduling too, though, because they didn't play Miami or they ain't play Clemson. So now, do we think SMU should have been in over Miami? Probably not. You know what I mean? I think if Miami was in there, they probably would have gave a little better showing.
Even
So
that South Carolina team you spoke about too.
yeah, the South Carolina. I mean, I'm listen. It could have been South Carolina or who was the last? It wasn't out of South. Was it Georgia?
No,
Who
it
was
was what's the
between?
name? Probably talking about Ole Miss.
Ole
Yeah,
Miss.
it was between South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Bama. So that ACC championship is what took South Carolina out of the running. You get what I'm saying? So it wasn't
Mhm.
really South Carolina's fault, because uh if SMU would have won in the ACC championship, then we could have said South Carolina, son. But it's the way it's set up right now too, though. You know what I'm saying? So that fourth SEC team wasn't getting in regardless. They just wasn't getting in. So,
Yeah.
but listen, man, we got it's well, we're gonna talk about it. I don't want to really talk about it right now. We could probably talk about it at the end of the stream for real. It's I think it's too many teams. We was talking about 16, and should we switch the playoff? But nah, I think it's too many teams.
Okay, I mean that's a good thought. Good analysis. It maybe 12 teams might be too many because we've had um, two showings that them two teams probably should not have been there.
I'd have been in there.
You know, you might be right, bro. 6 to 8 teams might be the. I mean, it's not going to be that way, but that might give you the best. The best 8 teams will probably be better, but we'll
That's
see. We'll see how it works, man.
that's
Let's
what I
switch
was
up a
saying.
little bit. Yeah, let's switch up a little bit and talk a little bit of NFL. And on Thursday night, we had the Broncos. We had the Broncos and the Chargers. The Chargers won 34-27. What's your thoughts on this Chargers team, man? This Chargers team, man, they legit, bro. They legit.
I was, for me, this game. I was with Denver, Bo and them Broncos, both Broncos as we call them, because I need these Chargers to take L's. For us to get in. And for me, this game was back and forth. The Chargers was up. Broncos came storming back. As we here at WTP Sports Dudes, Level Up Sports 10, I refer to him as herbs and spices. And he had a little bit of them spices in this game, and he sprinkled some herbs on top at the end. And I think that was the difference in this game. He's playing at a you can't take him out as far as in an MVP race. The way he has the Chargers looking and playing right now. I think this is the best that they've been in his career since he's been there. You know, Harbaugh's making a difference with them as well. And in this game, the ball was, I mean, caught by like 20 different, receivers. And I think that was a record setting night with the amount of receivers catching the ball. So the ball was definitely in the air. And, you felt the game within the game. And it came down to those last drives. And like I said, Justin Herbert, herbs and spices, man, you gotta get that man his respect as well as that organization. They've been a long way since they drafted him, and I think they're due. And it's tough for them to lose for my Bengals to get in, and I think it's going to be that tougher the way they just play. Got to give them their respect.
Man, I don't listen. I ain't watched that game, but all I know is my Buccaneers just banged the Chargers last week. That's what I know.
Yeah, and I had spoke on that. I said they got the I forgot what I call it, what kind of beat down, but I felt that the Chargers, like, they wasn't gonna come out and have that same type of performance. Even though I had the Broncos winning, I just didn't feel that the Chargers was gonna come out and put that same type of showing because that's just not them. And this game definitely showed. A lot of defense be being played as well within some of these,
Hey
even though
Moss,
they have high scoring also.
hey Moss,
Yeah,
that's just what happens when you run into a healthy Tampa Bay team. We really scrape people for real, for real.
that Tampa Bay team is dangerous. We spoke on that too.
Yeah, when they healthy, yeah, they're very dangerous. They might have dug themselves in a little hole um, early in the season, but they coming out of that hole. That's for sure. They coming out of that hole. I didn't see this game either, man. But what I do like about both of these teams, and I hope that their general managers continue to fill their roster with the right pieces.
Yeah.
These two teams are going to be very tough, man. Now, do I think that they're going to be able to compete with those Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know, but that division is a really, really tough division, man. If the Raiders can get it together, that division can be one of the best divisions in the NFL. And I like both of these teams. They got solid quarterbacks. Um, they got decent running back play when they're healthy. But I like both of those teams, man. And hopefully the Chargers can start losing so that your Bengals can get in there. I'd rather see the Bengals than the Chargers.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Let's talk about that Texans and Chiefs game. The Chiefs won 27-19. Now, of course, I was watching all college football yesterday. I wasn't even paying no attention to no NFL. But what's your thoughts on this game? The Texans 19 at the Chiefs 27.
Man, I had it in rotation. I ain't gonna lie, I was flipping back and forth. So, I mean, my biggest takeaways is the Chiefs just know how to win for real. Like, you know what I mean? After Tank Dell went out, the Texans couldn't even put together a drive, and maybe it was just too emotional for him or something. You know what I mean? Like, cause really, dudes was on the sideline crying. Like, that's how bad his injury was. They was over there crying, dog. So I don't know. Like, the Chiefs just always find a way to win, bro. Patty Mahomes he ain't even having no crazy MVP type season, but I mean, Travis Kelsey, he made plays when it was always he always made a play in that game when it was clutch. Xavier Worthy was going off. Um, I mean, the Chiefs is the Chiefs, bro. They just find ways to win.
Yeah. For me, it was, man, you just said it, Tank Dell, man. That made me think of that Louisville. I can't think of the guy's name for Louisville, man. When you see injuries like that, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. As an athlete, that shuts your whole team down. When you have to try to come back and play in a game like that, playing against a team like Kansas City, as as hyped up or you are for that game, and for a player like Tank Dell, we know what he brings to the table. A dislocated kneecap, and for you to see that in full speed, and then that's just tough. So I wish well wishes to him and a speedy recovery and just getting back to just being able to move, in a different way. We know what that'll do to you, but I looked at CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is struggling lately. CJ Stroud, I spoke highly of you here on WTP Sports News, Level Up Sports 10. Don't let us down, boss, because he haven't been playing the greatest as of late. He had a couple interceptions to go at the touchdowns, and like Donnell said, he said the Chiefs is a well-oiled machine, and you definitely seen that in that game yesterday. The defensive play, offensive play. Patrick Mahomes is just the wizard in what he do, and when something like that happens, I think Kansas City know what to do. Andy Reid know what to do. They pinned their ears back and they blitzed a little more. So when you have a coach that knows exactly what he's doing, won multiple Super Bowls, you're gonna get that. So I don't know where this takes Houston throughout the season, but I know Kansas City definitely is a team to beat. As we see, they keep winning and winning.
Yeah, Don B said the Chiefs are a well-oiled machine. Only comp may be is the Ravens, and he hate to say it's them Steelers.
Mm. Parlay Pope will holler at you about that, Donnie.
Man, I ain't listen. The Texans still got a chance. Like, I mean, I know CJ Stroud ain't been playing like how he having like kind of that like sophomore slump this year.
Mhm.
Yeah, big
But
stuff.
at the end of the day, bro, he still got his team in the playoffs. He's leading his division. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
can't just. I mean, that division ain't that great, but we can't. You know what I mean? We can't just say, oh, you know what I mean? Like, nah, they got a chance, bro. Anything can happen. It's any given Sunday for real.
My thing is for them, you got to think of what they went through when Nico Collins went down. So Nico Collins is just getting back right, and then you deal with the Tank Dell. So you know what I mean. Nothing against them. I like where they at, even on top of the division, everything. My question is, I'm watching them for the next few weeks just to see how they prepare themselves, moving into this playoff. Because I think, they were a team to beat Kansas City. I had them winning this game, but it went the opposite way, and that's just something to think about. Buffalo right now is to me the team in the AFC, along with Pittsburgh. I don't think Baltimore could get them. Pittsburgh and Buffalo is the two teams that I think can definitely get Kansas City.
I think the AFC is more brutal than the NFC this year.
Man, I love all them Steelers fans, but let me tell you something. Them damn Steelers they can't do nothing with no Chiefs, bro. They can't do nothing with no Chiefs at all. At all.
I say
Buffalo might be the only team that can beat them Chiefs, man. And now look, man, he had 10 different receivers caught the ball.
Yeah.
Now they got Hollywood Brown back. You got Hollywood Brown, fast as all lightning, and then you got Xavier Worthy, faster than lightning.
Man.
And then you got Hopkins and Kelsey. Now listen, they about to start smoking some folks, man. They about to start smoking some folks. They're already winning, but they about to start smoking some folks, bro. And I agree with you, KT. Andy Reid knows how to create mismatches. Listen, now that he got Hollywood Brown, he gonna be in his bag, bro. He gonna be in his bag.
Man, I think the only team that got some smoke for the Chiefs is the Ravens. I don't think Mahomes is gonna lose to nobody. But Lamar got this curse against Mahomes. So I mean, this might be the year. Oh my God.
All right, well,
Come on, boss.
It's Sunday,
You funny good.
well, let's talk about them Steelers and them Ravens. The Ravens won 34-17 yesterday. What's y'all's thoughts on these two teams, man, in this game that they just played?
Man, Parlay Poe, if you watching, king me. That's all I can say. We was, for me in this game, I was actually looking to see how Pittsburgh came out, against the run. And I was also seeing if Baltimore could run the ball, based on how the last game went 18-15. I think, for the Baltimore Ravens, this was a game where they had to put their hard hat on, and they did that with Derrick Henry going for 162 yards. And that's something that you haven't seen with Pittsburgh all season. So, the question for me moving forward is, has Pittsburgh ran out of, steam on that defensive side throughout the season, having to carry the load so much? And what are they going to do offensively, moving forward? So I was definitely surprised on that end of Pittsburgh when it comes to the defense, but it goes to show as well, Baltimore, they're a tough team. And Lamar threw for a couple touchdowns. Zay Flowers got busy, got him 100 yards. And as we said on King Henry, man, that buck 62. And when they're doing that, they're just a hard team to beat. And the defense, pick six. When you talk about Baltimore and Pittsburgh, you talk about defense. And Baltimore won the defensive battle, I feel, in this game in a major way, especially with that pick six.
Yeah, that pick six was crazy, man. You got to capitalize, bro. Lamar threw an interception right before that, and then y'all give it right back.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. And Lamar missed the open, bro. That tight end cut right across to the left side, and he was wide open for an open touchdown. That's the knock on Lamar. He don't be reading right. You know what I mean? It was wide open. He just the wrong person. But that was the difference in the game right there. As soon as that pick six happened, it was over for real. Like I was like, man, I might not even need to tune into this game no more.
Yeah.
Let's go back to KT's comment. He said that the Ravens ran the ball this game, and you don't normally see that happen against the Steelers too often, man. Where a
Right.
team can run the ball like the Ravens did on them, and whenever you can do that to the Steelers, you already know you can beat them if you can run the ball on them. Even though they got some decent corners and Mika Fitzpatrick back there at the safety position,
Yeah.
you can if you can run, you can control the Steelers. And Don B said, two complete teams, but the quarterback position is what separates these two teams. The will of Lamar Jackson is undeniable. Man, listen, you're right about that, Don B. That Lamar Jackson, man, he's been on the word I want to use. Ever since people was playing him like he wasn't a legit quarterback, all he could do was run.
Yeah.
He's been on a mission. I think that's the word I've been looking for.
Yeah.
Mission. He's
Yeah.
been on a mission, bro, to prove to everybody that he is a legitimate quarterback, and it ain't just his legs, bro. This guy is unbelievable, and he's undeniable, like you said, bro. I
Yeah.
agree with that one.
You can spin that thing as parlay post, and I think we gotta think, man. Like Lamar Jackson came into the NFL, and all people knew was for him to run. Like he really changed the game in the NFL with what he do, being able to run and pass. So we know what he's always been able to do, but just to see him passing the ball and having 2,500 yards passing, 3,500 yards passing in the season, we got to put some respect on his name, man. So that's just my thing when it comes to Lamar Jackson, man. He's been facing so many critics his whole career, but for him to continue to do what he do, man, hats off to you, LJ8. Keep pressing, man, and keep doing what you're doing because you got a talent, and nobody gonna stop it, man.
Man, Lamar got to do it in January, bro.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree. We all know, and I feel we all know that. And it's just, I mean, just knowing where he come from and how he's definitely stamped his game and letting people know I can't pass the football. And when you give him weapons and they're healthy, you see what he could do. He's just so used to when he do get out that pocket that them feet, man. Them feet can move.
Yeah, I like that Ravens team, but I don't like you said. He got to do it in January. Got
Yeah,
to do it in January for sure. Before we go into next week's, not next week's, but the next round of the CFP, let's talk a little bit about that game last night. Number nine, Tennessee at number eight, Ohio State. Ohio State beat them 42-17. Man, listen, we're gonna let you go last, Zay, since them your boys. But man, what did y'all think about this game and these Ohio State Buckeyes?
they proved me wrong. They proved me wrong, and I was seeing a lot of Tennessee fans throughout, that morning at Kroger's, different things walking on the campus, and I'm like, they getting a feeling for this weather already. They might be a little cold. So when I get the text at work and it's 21 nothing, I said, oh man, it's crazy. I said 21 nothing, and the game just started. So for me, I think Ohio State came out and made a statement in this game, letting everybody know, hey, we here. And we got this toughest road to the final, but we willing to do whatever it takes. And they came out hitting on all cylinders. Smith catching the ball, both running backs, and Henderson came out and ran the ball very well. Had a big run as well. So defensively, all questions was answered as well. So I think with this Ohio State team, they just know next man up is what we got to do in order to win this championship. And that 20 million looked like 40 million last night. I'm gonna just say that, Zen Master said.
Man, they proved me wrong too, man. Because I thought maybe they was gonna be, everything that's been going on with their coach and all that might have been in their head, and they might
Yeah,
not have played as well. I thought they could still win the game, but I thought if Tennessee was able to run the ball and control the time of possession, that they would have a chance. Um, but Ohio State had none of that. They was like, nah, we coming out here, we're gonna beat y'all up early, we're gonna beat y'all up late. And that's what they did in that game, man. And they made it very difficult for Tennessee, especially once their top running back went out the game. Their running game was hit. And Ohio State's linebackers and their defensive line, their front seven, really played lights out in that game. And their corners did too. Their corners did not give up a whole lot, man. They played really lights out. I was impressed with the offensive line as well for Ohio State. I thought maybe that Tennessee would be able to put some pressure on Will Howard, but without them dialing up a blitz, they couldn't get no pressure on him. And Ohio State played really good, man.
yeah.
It wasn't what I expected, but they played lights out, and I'm glad that they got the win.
Man, this game really came down to coaching, bro. And when we get out our own way and we just put dudes in the right position, we see what we are, bro. Like it's no even conversation. Out of all the first round teams that played and won in advance, we by far hands down look like the best team. Now we're gonna go into this Oregon game, and I hope our coaches stay out of the way because offensively, the game plan, we didn't try to run at these dudes. They had a front just like Michigan had a front. But what was the difference in the game plan? We attacked the sidelines. We attacked the flats. We threw the ball down the field. They just got to put the right dudes in the right position, the dudes in the right position, bro, to go win the game. And that's what they let them do. And then shout out to Jim Nose, dog. His game plan was on point. We ran a shell the whole game on defense. We ran a whole shell the whole game. My corners was 7 to 10 yards deep every play of the game. We stretched out our linebackers outside of the tackles, and we had our defensive line crashing. Like they couldn't get nothing, bro. Like even if they wanted to, they couldn't get nothing because of that shell that he implored. So shout out to the coaches, man. The players in position, the players went out there and executed.
Yeah. KT said Ohio State showed that Tennessee wasn't all that, and they definitely showed that
Right.
Tennessee was not all that. for sure. And
Man,
Don B said that Ohio State got off early when normally they start slow, fireworks. And what really impressed me was the fact that they understood that, listen, we got to get the ball in the hands of the man, Jeremiah Smith. And they did, man. And I was impressed with the fact that they knew that that's what they needed to do. And they made it happen. Let's talk about just not a whole lot of detail because we're going to go into it later on in the week. But let's talk a little bit about the matchups that are going to take place on January the 1st. One game is going to be on the 31st, and then the other ones are going to be on the 1st. What's your thoughts? Who y'all think is going to win this matchup between number 7 Notre Dame versus number 2 Georgia?
I'm going against the world, man. I'm taking my brother's fighting Irish. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know, man. This Notre Dame team, there's something in the water with this Notre Dame team, man. Zen Master Zay, I told you about that defense. You a believer now?
No, they play Indiana.
I like that defense of Notre Dame, and when it comes to passing the ball against this Notre Dame fight Irish, it's not going to be that easy for Georgia. I think Georgia going to have to disguise some things. And Xavier Watts, make sure that you remember the name because I think he's going to be the man to step up and have one of those big games in order for Notre Dame to get this win. And I have enough faith in the defense of Notre Dame over the offense of Georgia. That's what I feel would be the battle in this game. So I like Notre Dame's chances.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame too, man. That side of the bracket is trash. It's trash. So, I mean, I can see a Notre Dame Ohio State national championship for real. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That's how I'm feeling. Uh, yeah, I ain't gonna get too much detail. We're gonna talk about it.
Don B said Georgia, if they have discipline to stay focused with a week off, he got Georgia if they can do that. And then KT said Notre Dame's defense will be the key.
Yeah,
I think that with Georgia's defense, they're going to stay in the game, even though they got a first year quarterback, well, backup quarterback playing. I think he's a redshirt freshman.
yeah.
They're uh, they're going to and this game is going to be a bum game for sure. It's going to be low scoring. The defenses are going to dominate these games because I don't see Notre Dame, who can't really pass the football really well, running against Georgia's front seven, especially when they decide to put six in the box, seven in the box. They're not running on Georgia. And that's basically all they can do. Um, so it's going to be a really good game in terms of defense. It's going to be a low scoring game, but I really want to see Georgia win it because I'm an SEC homer now and no longer a Big Ten homer. But I want to see Georgia win it because really what I want to see is Georgia and Texas in the championship game so we can beat Georgia and finally make up for those two losses that we had. That's what I want.
I respect that.
That's what I want. What's your thoughts and who y'all think will win this matchup between um, number 6 Penn State versus number 3 Boise State?
They made me a believer after this past weekend. I'm going with Nittany Lions. My boy Bakari, man. Your Penn State Nittany Lions is the truth. You heard it here first.
Yeah, Penn State about to crush them, bro. They just playing. They playing super confident, man. That defensive front, that number 99, and they got Abdul Carter too to go with him, bro. Them dudes is problems, bro. They are
He's just that
problems, bro.
secondary down, man. Like he holds the secondary down. Like he remind me of your boy from Texas, Barron, because he really holds that safety position and really. I mean, I've been watching him. He's just all over the field. And when you have a player like that, that makes your defense that more stout. So, feel you like that.
This is the part of this setup that I don't like because there's no way that Boise State should be at 3 I mean, I know they had a good season. Ashton Genty did his thing. And there's no way that Arizona State should be at 4. These guys get a bye when they're nowhere near the top 4 teams in college football. And so we had a couple of jacked up games because of the first round, how it laid out. We knew Indiana was not going to be able to compete with Notre Dame, and we knew SMU was not going to be able to compete with Penn State. And we got another one where Penn State is going to thump Boise State. There's no way they're going to be able to compete with them. If all you can do is run the ball, Mad Max, you're going to have to pull out some tricks, bro.
Mhm.
Otherwise, y'all going to get thumped. Y'all going to get thumped.
Yes, indeed.
And KT called, I think, that Georgia Notre Dame game the bumbo.
Bumbo.
We might have called this one the bumbo, too. And then Don B said Penn State, like you've been saying all year, the linebacker you, man. And I think they're going to be on Ashton Genty's tail all game. All game. What's your thoughts on this Texas versus Arizona State game in the Peach Bowl? What's your thoughts on this one, man?
I like Texas, man. I think we spoke about that number 5 seed, the route that you would take, but I just think Texas is just too well rounded for this Arizona State team. I mean, and they're gonna sit that 7 or 8 in the box at times, disguise those blitzes, and it's just gonna be a fun day. And Texas in a 21-point route.
Man, I got Arizona State, man. I just hope they don't come out and think they about to run the ball. I feel like, I mean, I've never been a fan of Cade Klubnik, but like he was low key getting off low key, like you know what I mean. So, and I think Sam Levitt, I said on the stream a few weeks ago, I got him in the Heisman race next year. So, I mean, it's an earlier arrival for him. You know, I think the receivers play outstanding, and they got the film of Muhammad, bro. That's the guy you go after. That's the guy.
Well, I'm starting to think that Isaiah is afraid that Texas and Ohio State might meet up, and he doesn't want that to happen.
He
I'm
don't want
starting
it
to
to
think
happen.
that. He's been going. He's been going against my Longhorns all this whole entire freaking playoff. I think he's afraid of that Texas and Ohio State matchup or something.
Uh,
No, I'm
Mm.
just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. Listen, they lost their number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
They're in trouble. They're in trouble.
they
I
still got
think,
Galala, but however you say his name, Galil
yeah,
something
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But trust me, Texas defensive unit is going to go back to look at that film and say, listen, we can't play like this
Yes.
for the rest of the playoffs. And they're going to come out. And Gilbo was making some bad plays. Muhammad made some bad plays. But you know who didn't make bad plays? Was my man Taffy, my man Bakuba, and my man Barron. They didn't
Yep.
make no bad plays. They going to get them other two guys together, man, and say, listen, we can't play like this, man, or we going to lose. So y'all got to get it together. You're going to be on the sideline. We're going to bring somebody else in here. But Texas will get that together, man. And Donnell said, and he's absolutely right, Texas doesn't even have to throw this game. They ain't got to throw the ball at all. They're going to run down these dudes' throat,
Yeah.
especially if we get Cam Williams back healthy because he went out in this game, along with our center, Jake Majors, who's been playing at Texas for 100 years. If we get those two guys back on that offensive line, man, we're going to run the ball. We probably rush for 400 yards on these dudes. Even though they got my man Scatterboo, and I love Scatterboo, man. But I think Texas is going to be way too much for these dudes. But we all know that the game of that day is going to be this game between them Ohio State Buckeyes and them Oregon Ducks. Man, listen, Ohio State had the best game yesterday. They had the best matchup. We thought that was going to be the best game of the day, and then they're going to get the best game of the day on New Year's Day. What's your thoughts on this game? Not your thoughts, but who you think gonna win it, and what do you think it's gonna look like a little bit?
I think the difference maker. I got Oregon. We'll dibble dabble more into that Zen Masters Day. I know you're gonna hate me, all my family, Buckeye fans, Buckeye Nation. I'm sorry. Quack quack, Mr. Duckworth. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nah, I never hate you. It's all love. It's all love, my dog. Man, listen,
I
man.
don't mean to say hate because that's such a strong word. Let me reframe that.
Yeah, man, we about to kill them, bro. No, hey, we went 0 for 2. We got 3 goals coming into the season. We went 0 for 2 in our first 2 goals. That's to win the Big Ten and beat Michigan. Bro, we not about to go down on another goal right now, bro. Nah, it's too soon. The story ain't written all the way yet.
Mm,
KT said Ohio State is going to dominate Oregon.
man.
And Don B said, we are letting them silver bullets go. Pressure the whole game. Roasted duck. Like that commercial where the dude came to the to the Ducks what is it called before the game? Their tailgate.
Okay.
Duck in his head. That's how the Buckeyes gonna do it. That's crazy. Listen, I agree. I really do believe that Ohio State has been waiting on this game all season long. And I think that they are going to beat Oregon pretty easily, man. I really do. Oh, man.
This
But then
is
I start thinking about Dylan Gabriel and the fact that he got them receivers running all over the place.
he got Taz Johnson back.
Oh, man.
Taz Johnson playing this game.
And I'm quite sure that receiver for Oregon ain't going to spit on nobody this game. He trying to stay in this game.
Yeah, that's Taz. He ain't making no dummy mistakes this time around.
Yeah, y'all forget the element of get back though.
Yeah, that's what got me leaning towards the Buckeyes with the element of get back.
And then when he speak on the fact that they got pretty much unfinished business, y'all still got unfinished business from last year because y'all ain't win the Big Ten or beat that team up north last year.
This a
Well,
whole different season,
well,
dog.
well, well, listen. We know that the
I'm
business
back.
with the team up north is already finished. It's already done. They got Ohio State's number. Ohio State might not beat them for the next 10 years.
So the question is,
Y'all tripping.
did these Ducks come in and snatch the number 2 right along with that team up north? I don't know, but I'm just asking. We're gonna get into all that.
See, y'all making me want to get into this now.
This is a
Y'all,
good
y'all
No,
one,
no,
man.
no.
tripping.
Don't get into it. Don't
Now
get
y'all
into
tripping on this
Don't
stream, dog.
fall for the peanuts here.
it. Hey, what's
Y'all
up?
tripping on this stream, bro. It's a
Yeah,
whole
I'm
new
ready. Y'all ready?
season.
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's a whole new season, bro. We ain't talking about nothing that happened in the regular season, bro. Y'all seen what them boys came out and did yesterday, bro. We are on a mission, bro. Hey, it ain't nothing scarier than a man on a mission in the world. It's nothing scarier than that.
You're right. You're right. Did they say y'all you about ready to get some of them
Yeah,
Christmas?
man. Yeah, man. I got the roll, man. So we're
Oh
gonna go
man,
ahead and end this live stream, man. Take us out, Mossberg.
man, appreciate everybody joining in, man. We don't mean to be out so fast, but we're gonna try to hit y'all with a live stream during the games today. Some of these good football games, but make sure you tap in WTP Sports Dudes, like, subscribe, hit that ring bell. Zen Master Day Zay. He got his YouTube page up, so make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification. And it's your man Mossberg, Moss B, Level Up Sports 10, WTP Sports News. As we always say, peace.
Peace.
We out.
Hey.
Appreciate you. All love.